With Celtic about to go into the transfer market again and look for a striker due to the fact that we're going to lose our front three to the Asia Cup, it's imperative that we get one in the transfer window early, in my opinion. And the reason for that is obviously you want to get them in embedded in with the team a few weeks before they go back into action and at an important time of the year. We're going to look at three strikers that Celtic have been looking at over the past 6 months. The first one we need to talk about is obviously the Aberdeen player. The Aberdeen player, Bojan Miovski. Aberdeen are looking to actually go into contract talks with the player to try and ward off any offer from Celtic. Alan Burrows, the man in charge of Aberdeen, wants a hands-off warning to Celtic as they want him to commit to a new contract. The Don's hitman is believed to be on the January wish list. Now, it could be a good option for Celtic, and I'm going to tell you why. He's probably number 2 of the options out of the 3 that are there just now. I think the money-wise, paying just over $4 million for him. Celtic paid $4.4 million for Scott Brown back in 2007. Could it be the fact that Aberdeen would cash in on the player that they bought for 600 grand, 500, 600 grand, and just not long ago? So it could be a good one for Celtic. He has scored goals in the SPFL. He knows how to score goals in the league. But is he the type of player that is going to take us to that next level in Europe? Because let's face it, that's what we really want. We want a striker that can do it at European level. So the first one, I think he will be number 2 in the choices, and I'm going to tell you why. Because I think that money-wise and the fact that he has played in the league, he'll be an easy fit into the Celtic squad. Now, the second one I want to talk about, who I think might be first in line for the Celtic striker position due to the fact that he's not playing for his team just now. I think Celtic could do a deal with his club quite adequately, and I think they could get that through over the line quite easily compared to the Aberdeen deal. I think Aberdeen might try and drag it out through the window to try and get as much money for him as possible. But would Sidney van Hooijdonk be a potential option for Celtic and Brendan Rodgers as the Celtic manager looks to get a new striker in? There's been no formal approach to Bologna from Celtic, and a price has not been discussed as believed, but it is a player that Celtic have been looking at. Now, I'm going to say, I have said on this channel before, I don't think the mentality of the player, the fact that he has fallen out with his team, his coach, and the club, and he's spat the dummy, and he's been not even benched. He's not even in the team. So is it the type of player? He's a bit like his dad that way. His dad left under a cloud back in the day. So is it a disruptive player that we need? Or does Brendan Rodgers see something in him that will make Brendan Rodgers go for him rather than Miovski? Purely for the fact that he isn't playing, and it's probably a deal that we could get done quicker. Now, that's the only reason I'm going to make him the number 1 choice as it stands out of the three that we're going to talk about. I think that he is a player. Anything can change in football. He has said, I'm fine, I'm in a good team. He says, I like life a lot. I will try my best to do the right thing for my career. I also have to play a bit of acknowledgement from him that he's not in the team, and that is kind of getting to him. Now, the third one, and I think this player will be the third choice because Celtic had a chance to go out and buy this player in the summer, and we were about 300 or 400 grand short of what the club wanted. Yes, and it was the Brøndby striker. Celtic did have the opportunity to get their man from Brøndby in the summer, but we wouldn't pay the money. Now, I think that deal, even though we've still been looking at him, I think that deal is done in the water. It's dead in the water purely for the fact that Brendan Rodgers and Celtic more, there's no way that Peter Lawwell will go back in and pay the £8 million that they are now looking for the player. It's disappointing that we could have got him. I mean, what difference would that have made to the season if we'd just spent that 300 or 400 grand? It's got Peter Lawwell rotting all over it. The fact that Mathias Kvistgaarden and the Danish forward could have been at Celtic. Will Celtic pay the now 8.5 million price that has been put on his head? Not a chance. There's been plenty of pundits that said Celtic would not go anywhere near paying that kind of money for a striker. Now, we did pay that kind of money for a striker in the past, but He went on to be a fantastic player and a bit of a Hun slayer. On a serious note, will Celtic spend 8.5 million? No, there's more chance of them spending 3 or 4 million on Van Hooijdonk. Will they spend the 4 million plus on the Aberdeen player? No, I don't think so. Also, I think that Aberdeen will try and drag that one out. Celtic are needing a player in as quick as possible. There's no use waiting until the end of the transfer window. Celtic need to operate quickly, fastly, and smoothly in the transfer window when it opens at the end of this year. Now, going forward, Celtic need to get someone in that is going to be there for the next couple of seasons. There's no use bringing someone in as a stopgap just until Kyogo and O comes back. We need to bring in a striker that gives both those players a bit of competition. For me, I think Celtic should really be playing 3-5-2 in the SPFL. Tell me what you think about that in the comments. But when it comes down to it, those are the three strikers that we've been named with. Could it be the fact that Brendan Rodgers and co could find another striker, another gem out there that we don't even know about just yet? There hasn't been many names mentioned. Those are the three that have been mentioned recently. Out of the three, I think the best one that we have a chance of getting quickly would obviously be Van Hooijdonk. I don't think that he would be the right option for Celtic. I think the Aberdeen choice, that might drag out far too long as Aberdeen trying to get as much money as possible. And let's face it, they're in no rush to try and sell their player. They do have him on a long-term contract, unless the player turns around and says, look, I want to go to Celtic. So tell me what you think about it in the comments of those three strikers, or do you think there's another striker? Tell me in the comments if there's another striker out there that you think might be suited to Celtic. Roll up to the party.